So regarding the validation within the OSM Tasking Manager, and we will use the main instance, that the one from HOT. That's not the only one, but the one that most of people use, and that is the one that is used generally for, I would say, humanitarian purposes. The other ones are more regional or national based. So again, if you are not very familiar with the Tasking Manager, there's also a course about that in the Learning Hub. That's this one, the OSM Tasking Manager. Okay. And again, these courses are provided in almost all the languages that are listed here, except Arabic, but it will come shortly, and Russian. There is no Russian version planned. Okay, so here, if you do not master everything regarding the Tasking Manager, I strongly encourage you to read this guide. And this is also interesting because there's a chapter about how to interact with other people within the Tasking Manager. That's not something people used to do. I guess if you already use the Tasking Manager, getting started and mapping Tasking Manager task, you know how to do it. That's the very basics and what most of people do and focus on. Okay, selecting a task, etc. But also you can learn here how to actually see the history of a task, etc. That will be interesting for validation purposes. Okay, so if your experience of the Tasking Manager was just picking up tasks, mapping your stuff in ID or JOSM, and mark the task as complete or yes or no at the end, I encourage you to read that, because I guess you will learn a bit more about some specific features in the OpenStreetMap Tasking Manager. Okay. And yes, validating task is just about. Let's go to the OSM Advanced course for that. Okay. So I will process this chapter, and I will also apply and show you an example with a live example picking up an existing task and opening, and I will open it in my. Oops, sorry, I was cut a few seconds. Hope everything is back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Still here. Thank you. No, I don't know.
Yes. I will stay here, and when I see that there is somebody, I will admit them. So no worries. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so let's start. Validating with Tasking Manager task. First, as for a mapper, when you're a validator, it's really good. You need the objective of the project that you want to validate first, okay, to be sure that you will actually focus on the right features that are actually the one that was requested to be mapped through this project. Okay, if it's only about buildings or roads, we will not check, for example, the waterways. So have a quick look about what was requested. Let me open Tasking Manager. I will use, okay, for example, oops, my personal account. And yes, you want me to complete my profile. It was not very, I prefer to remain discreet. Just switch to English. And I will switch to default editor chosen. It was ID because I organized a training last week with beginners, basically. Okay, and this is where I also encourage you to put all the notifications on. It's better to interact. Okay, and now I can explore project. Oh, maybe I would check if we have something with UN mappers. No, that's not the right. Okay, UN mappers. It's almost done. Okay. So this one is for roads, for example. Okay. So sometimes you have the feature in the title or in the text, but you have also the types of mapping that is from Tasking Manager. This is basically road, buildings, waterways. This one I don't remember. That's a land cover maybe, and others. Okay, that is land use. Okay, and the imagery that has been used, also important. A few months ago, when Maxa was still on, everyone was using Maxa. Now we need to to check every time what is actually the best option. Bing actually having been recently updated, so in some areas it's now the most recent one. What was not actually Pawan, that was you. Okay. Yes, I was saying okay, it's good now. Now, I was saying regarding the imagery, being maybe sometimes the most recent option. So do not be surprised. I may update actually the guide regarding the geographical context. Because at that time it was written 1 or 2 years ago. In the option, in the, for example, in this example, Bing was generally the most, the oldest imagery when we were comparing the other one we had. So now we have only 4 options, not 5, and sometimes Bing is the most recent one. So do not consider, you really need to check what is the best option when you map, and supposedly when you have in the instruction of a tasking manager an imagery that is actually written down here, that supposedly that's the one that will be automatically opened in the editor of the contributors. So it's better to stick with the one that has been actually selected by the project creators. Okay. So when you want to contribute, okay, supposedly you can contribute to depending on your level. For mapping, as you know, there is some projects that are open only for intermediate or advanced mappers, depending on your basically your quantity of your amount of edits. Regarding the validation, there's different approaches. You can, through the tasking manager, decide that your project will be open to anyone to validate. The platform preventing only a mapper to validate himself or herself. You cannot validate a task that you mark yourself as done, whatever your level of experience. But some organization can decide to open the validation only to specific users they select. Okay, that's a bit the case for UN mappers. You can see in if I go on managing, so I have a manage button because with my account I have access to at least one organization's settings. So in my case, it's UN mappers. So we can see in Tasking Manager, we can organize teams. And we have that in UN mappers. We have some teams that are publicly visible. They're visible for everyone, but that's the one that can be joined by anyone, or that can be joined only by request. Okay, and there are also the ones that are totally private and only by request. Okay. So with my account, I can validate any project in the from the UN mappers, any UN mappers project, but it may not be the case for you. Okay, but there's also other organizations that make their project open to everyone. In our case, we want people to be experienced and supposedly being good validators to validate our project. So here, you can see that everything that is ready for validation are the light blue squares. Okay, the dark green one are the one that have been already validated. You can click if you want to select a task, just select one, but you can see you can select different ones. Okay, so sometimes it could make sense, for example, here, or for example, these 4 ones to validate them. Okay, you can see it's remain as 4 different tasks, and I will open JOSM. Okay, and if I click on validated for selected tasks, you will see that it will actually download the 4 tasks separately. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let me make a bit of cleaning here. So they have been downloaded in 4 times, but there's still one single layer. Okay, and there is a boundary for tasks that has been also uploaded. So here you can validate the four tasks in the same time. And I would say you can see that it would be for here it's for roads. It makes more sense to have something that is larger like that. I have an echo from myself. Yes. Okay. Brenda, your microphone was open. Dina, your microphone is open as well. So yes, I was saying that in that example, validating roads, it makes really more sense to download these four tasks as a single area of validation. Otherwise, you will have very short. It's complicated it's more complicated to see if for example, regarding the road classification, etc. Here with a larger space, it makes more sense. The difference between the different road classification, for example. Samuel, it's open. Yeah. Okay. You can see here that it will ask you when you want to finish your validation, task by task. Okay. It may be complicated. What is the task 73, 34? You can see you have a hover text here when you pass on top of it. Okay. So you can imagine, for example, you already you only validate half of it, and it will put no for the two other ones. Would be make more sense, obviously, to do everything. And you see you have one button to map everything as yes or no. Okay. The comment is not mandatory. It's more that you put it when you feel that something should be added in the history. If you have some doubts, etc. Okay. And we see with this comment that you can also we will see that how to do it, but you can actually send a message that will be received by someone else. It's a way of putting a narrow base, for example, to a specific contributor. Obviously, you can stop the validation and you can stop the mapping if you thought you would have time, but actually you need to run out. You can stop the validation. Obviously, better to stop it and let it open to anyone else rather than blocking them for the next 2 hours. That's the same duration that for the mapping. These tasks are used for the next 2 hours. I told you that you could put, for example, a comment. Let's see how you can see the history of intervention on a task. So back on the Tasking Manager project. Let me stop the validation back here. So for example, those ones. You can see here, if I select one task, it's selected here. So it has been updated by me, even if actually I did not do anything on it. I just pick up the task, but I did not put it as validated, but it's still an update. If I click here, I will see the history of the task. You can see, so for example, Raoul Hab put some comment, okay, that was for its mapping. You see, as a default, you have the comments are selected, but you can also click on activities, and you have everything has been done. Okay, so I would have logged it 1 month ago for the mapping. Raquel marked it as map 2 weeks ago. And we have been, there's 2 people. There was Nataraj Saranya who put it for validation 1 week ago, but did not put as validated at the end, exactly like me 5 minutes ago. Okay. And here at the bottom, I can leave a comment if I want. Okay. And you can see here you have some hashtags. That means you can leave a comment, and if you click on this manager, author, or contributors, that means your message will be received by the different persons. Okay, I think that is one author of the project, different managers. So, for example, I'm not the creator of this project, but I am part of the managers. So I would receive a message for this. The contributors, I guess that all the people listed here. Okay. So if you are very, very angry of everyone, can be you did a really bad mapping. The job. There is no mention of the arrow base. Arrow base, I think it's mentioned. That's something you find. Yes, sorry. I should have kept the basics of the OSM Tasking Manager. Thinking interaction. Where is it? Arrow base, something, no? In a message, not a word. It's explained, so maybe it's there. But anyway, I don't remember exactly where in which chapter it is, but you can put somewhere here. Arrow base, and you can see the different people that have been part of in this. Nadaraj, Raoul, and Rakele. That's her professional account. So you remember, you click the task, you go on task. If you were still on instructions, were reading the instructions, if you click on the task, you don't see you cannot access the history. You need to click on task and then click on that. You can also have a direct link here to a task if you want to share it with someone. That's where we saw together. So you have here a video showing what I just showed on my JOSM. And again, you have here the name of the file. If you want to read that offline with a PDF, you can find this video in the zip archive, and you have its name here, so it's easy to find. And it's also available on YouTube. Okay. This step here, I just show for the internal process in the Tasking Manager, but regarding a validation process in using it in JOSM, when you download that, okay, the question you have to ask yourself is: you correct, you complete, or you just invalidate? Okay. It really depends on you, on the instructions, on the project, and I would say the mapper has been involved. That you will decide actually to, when there is still things to be improved, to be mapped. It's not yet done. It's not well done, maybe also. So will you decide to put it and validate so the people, it will be back to the mapping phase? or you will just decide to correct all the mistakes or the things that are missing. Okay. As I said, it depends on the project. If, for example, it has been mapped by beginners and it was just hit and run, let's say, kind of communication mapathon where there is beginners for a specific event, the people map, but you do not expect them to come back actually. Or so if you put the thing as back to be mapped, maybe nobody will do it, and you actually need the data in a short time. So you may decide to do it. On the contrary, if it's actually mappers that are, that there would be other people to map and complement, it can be the good option also to put it back to the mapping. Okay. Here we just put like a percentage, for example. See, there is very an important lack of completion, many mistakes, and they are not 50%, but even at least 1/3 of the total. That may be the threshold you can decide to put it back to mapping or you complete yourself. Okay. And here you perform the validation process with it. Okay. In our case, this is where, for example, we will use later all the workflows that are within a specific guide. Generally, the validation, when it's done with JOSM, unfortunately, I would say most of the time it's just running the internal validator. Okay, so I will click on that and just clean this. But there are also things that I would miss. For example, regarding the road, the right road classification is not something JOSM will detect, for example. And of course, if there is some missing pieces of road, it won't be detected. It may happen that actually you see green tags marked as completed, and you can see if I go here, I cannot select them. You can see the button validate another task, but of course I could download this one and manually download the one just on the east. Okay. And for example, you can see that this one has been made by Raquel, that I told you is very involved in validation in our crowdsourcing project. This one was by Pedro Faria. Okay, actually, I can see from contribution who did what. So Raquel, if I click on that, she mapped that. She put all of this up as validated, and there is just two here by Pedro, and I think that's the only ones to have validated. Okay, that's in the contribution tab. Most of the other people are contributors. Is mapping, validating, and that's the total of it. That's 2 + 13 = 15. So most of it have been done by Raquel. So of course, supposedly, your validators are someone we trust. So if Raquel put that as validated, there's no. I should not have to go back and have a look. But in some case, for example, it's has been made because the project was open to anyone to validate, and you see here that's a contributor you don't know at all, and you would like to see how this contributor actually validated. Okay, and you can see you cannot open it. So here we put the instruction how to do it. Okay, and is still with the same history button. So, for example, this one is no. Why I'm here? Ready for validation. Finish. Yeah, this one. The history there. Okay. Can see here? I can actually. I have this button. I can open it in an editor. I can see the change set. It's not really well done. I can visualize with Overpass. I can download from Overpass. So different things I can do with this button. But for us, I would say it's about more just on opening an editor. So let me just trash this this task. Okay. So I can open it from here, from the history with this button, and I can have a look. Okay. In case I thought it was not actually ready, we cannot consider this task has been validated. There's still missing, still things that are missing or mistakes. I can request revalidation. Okay. So luckily, I will just do it for for the quotes to see it. So that's. Do we want to proceed? Task status will be changed are ready for validation. Okay, so it will be back to the light blue color. Okay. Supposedly, I should put a comment there explaining why. Okay. And I can even do it directly to the people that validate it, for example. I think there are still some missing small words, for example. Okay. And if I put a comment and I click on yes, it will be blue. Okay, we'll be back to the ready for validation step. These I already showed you. That's when you finish the tasking manager process, you put it as mapped, completely mapped or not, well mapped, the questions. Okay. And of course, when this is done, you can proceed with other tasks.